At it again. And shout out to this brother right here because I think he presents something that is really, really quite interesting that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to. And I don't think enough people are actually talking about it. I've mentioned it periodically before, but the way that he goes into it, I think is a well-needed question that we should all be asking, especially Democrats. All right. With that being said, let's dive in.
A little question for you, okay? And I really do want an answer. Democrats, I got a little question for you, okay? And I really do want an answer. I want to talk about Taylor Swift and Robert De Niro and LeBron James and Jay-Z and Beyonce and Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, the list can go on. George Soros, whatever you want to talk about. I want to talk about the over 90 business leaders in the United States that have overwhelming support for Kamala Harris. I want to talk about how Donald Trump did not receive a dime from a single Fortune 100 donor. I want to talk about how Donald Trump has been chewed up and spat out of Hollywood, out of Big Pharma, out of New York, out of Wall Street. I want to talk about all those things because what we see here, not by a study, not by a statistic or a graph, but we look outside our window and we see one candidate who has been rejected by the very system that you and I used to despise. The very system that has put us in boxes and told us to work until we die, that has told us to pay taxes until we can't breathe, that has told us to literally do everything for them while they don't even answer our phone calls when we have a request. Those same people are the ones that are backing Kamala Harris and trying to indict, prosecute, and convict, in all honesty, unalive Donald J. Trump. Now, rather than see that the Democrat and the Republican Party have never been different in the past, they both receive donor money from the same donors. They both receive hedged bets from Fortune 100 companies. They all shake hands behind closed curtains after they argue and yell at each other on the debate stage. That's been the case since you and I were born. The second Donald Trump showed up on the scene, that bipartisan funding from these elites stopped. And no more to the Republican Party and Donald Trump. The turning a blind eye to corruption in our politics stopped. Donald Trump is now a 34-count felon. And you guys, rather than look at the way the world's playing out and say, how is the system that I hate attacking this guy so severely if he didn't threaten their ecosystem? But rather than think through that logically, you've chosen to side with the Taylor Swifts, the LeBron James, the JP Morgan, the Wall Street, the Big Pharma, the Oprahs, the Ellens, the Hollywoods, the Universals. You chose to go over there and join them because they were so mad that Donald Trump was terrible. The same companies, the same CEOs that turned blind eyes to SA trafficking, to abuse of women in an industry, to P. Diddy, all of these people who have turned blind eyes for decades on crime, all of a sudden you think they care so much about Donald Trump's misallocation of funds and they want to make sure he pays for that. You think they just had a come to Jesus moment and figured that out in the last 4 years. No. You are being insanely manipulated. I don't know what to say if you can't see it now. There's really not much I can do, but you got to wake up.
So yeah, I think he makes a very, very great point. They all agree now. Why is that? Isn't that interesting? You know, people used to talk about, some folks used to say, well, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are, two wings of the same bird. But those two wings now agree, right, that Donald Trump is the bad guy. And now you're agreeing with them? Wait a minute. I thought you said that they were the bad people. We all know one of those folks that has said that to us. Oh, well, Democrats and Republicans are part of the same bird. Well, Trump isn't a part of that bird at all. Have you ever considered maybe that's why they hate him? Like he said, out of all these crimes, all these folks, P. Diddy more recently, and right, I mean, he'll have his day in court, okay? He hasn't been convicted of anything just yet, okay? He will have his day. But all of these folks, all this time, ignored a lot of this stuff that was going on. But now they care about crime. Now they care about, the way Donald Trump signed something or he's a threat to democracy all of a sudden. Even though we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. But anyway, before somebody type that in the comment section, I know All right. It's just insane. All of these same celebrities every 4 years all come out and endorse a Democrat, the same Democrats. Like, you don't find that, like, these people, like, never endorse anybody else? The Jay-Z's, Billie Eilish recently endorsed Kamala, the Taylor Swifts. Why do they all endorse Democrats? Like, it doesn't even matter who the Democrat is. They just all endorse Democrats every single time. They never have endorsed a Republican. Why do you think that is? And the few celebrities that have said, no, I like Trump, what happened to their careers shortly after? Have you ever thought about that? Isn't that interesting? That they all now agree with each other. This is why I think they are afraid. Well, at least one of the reasons why. Trump held a rally in Long Island, New York. Check out this clip.
And arriving here overnight, the Nassau Coliseum holds about 16,000 people. We are told by the campaign, I presume, that more than 60,000 tickets have been issued to this event. The seating inside is on a first-come, first-served basis. So you see all these folks on the front plaza here of the Nassau Coliseum, and they are waiting in line to get inside. The doors here don't open until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're told that the program doesn't begin until 4:30, and Donald Trump won't speak until around 7 o'clock. So these people will be waiting for quite some time. When we first got overhead about 45 minutes ago, the crowd was pretty much confined to this area. We're now seeing this line stretch out and around the building. What are we going to do with all these extra people, you ask? We are told that there will be screens set up in the parking lot for the overflow crowd. Those 60,000 people that won't be able to get inside can watch outside on the screens. Want you to know that you can't get into the parking lots here without a ticket to the event, so they don't have complete chaos outside. One other note you guys talked about later on, Donald Trump right now is in Midtown Manhattan at Trump Tower, of course with the added focus on security. His motorcade will be making its way out here. We don't get the exact times of when he's going to leave, but I think that hour is going to be between 5 and 5:30. As far as road closures go, just keep an eye on it. If your evening commute involves the LIE through Queens, out here in Nassau County, maybe the Northern State Parkway, the Meadowbrook Parkway, all those.
Yeah, so I believe that video was recorded at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30. Doors don't open until 3. Trump wasn't speaking until 7. And that's in New York. Y'all remember, actually, in a video yesterday, I mentioned this because we were talking about the potential car bomb, which I do want to clarify that whole situation just for full disclosure, just to be clear on things. I do believe there was a statement that came out that said that was a false report. So I do want to apologize for reporting on that a little too early. I should have refrained on reporting on that. So I apologize. That's my mistake. But those were the rumors. Those were the reports that were originally coming out, was that it was a car bomb that was found. But reports came out later that said that wasn't the case. So I do want to apologize about that reporting yesterday. But once again, this is in New York. And I said yesterday, I was like, why is Trump doing a rally in New York? Why isn't he, in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin? Like, those should be the states that, he should be circling. He should literally be circling the country like this, over and over, just doing rallies on a loop in those places, because obviously those are the states that he's really going to need. And I was like, maybe there's something that he knows that we don't know. Maybe there's some internal polling that is showing him that New York is actually within striking distance. And I think that might be the case. You saw that crowd there. A stadium that holds 16,000 people. They received 60,000 reported ticket requests to go to that event. In a blue state. Deep blue. New York. This is New York. This isn't Florida. This isn't Texas, right? This isn't like a deep red state. This is a deep blue. New York. 60,000 people wanted to show up. And the place was absolutely packed. And I'll show you guys the clip here in just a second. Matter of fact, here you go. I mean, not one single empty seat. No buses, right? Nobody getting bussed in. No shenanigans, no fancy concert, no booty shaking, no twerking, no trickery. 60,000 requests. 16,000 people got inside of there. Absolutely packed. Absolutely packed. And I want to play this clip of what Donald Trump actually had to say during the rally. Check it out.
And the reason I'm here is because it hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time, but we are going to win New York. And that's the first time in many, many years that a Republican can honestly say it, and we're going to do it. We have to do it.
Now, do I honestly believe Trump will win New York? No. More than likely, no. Do I think he can get it within single digits? Absolutely. And that's just me being completely honest. I think Trump has received some internal polling that shows that New York is within striking distance, and that if he put in a little extra work into New York, put in some more work into New York, he could possibly grab it. I don't think he'll be able to close that gap. I mean, New York is deep blue. I mean, bro, listen, if Trump wins New York, if come election night, right, if we see New York go red, even if it's barely red, if he wins by 5,000 votes, I don't care, 2,000, 1,000 votes, if he wins New York, consider the election over. It's cooked. It's done. You turned a deep blue state red. Just imagine what every other state is doing. New York could be the first state that announces their results, and if it's red, start celebrating. It's over with. It's done. But once again, I don't think it's actually going to happen. I think when it's all said and done, and you guys can clip this, right? Remember this, save this video clip. I think when it's all said and done, Trump will bring New York within, I think he'll lose by probably 4. Maybe 5, 4 or 5. I think he'll lose by 4 or 5. It will be, I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna say 4 and I'm gonna stick to it. Trump will lose by 4 in New York. Not double digits, not 10, not 15, not 20, not 18, which I believe I think he lost by like 20 something, like 21 or 22 before. But I think he'll lose by 4. That's my prediction. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. But the fact that it's only 4, I think says a lot. Says a whole lot. All the media shenanigans, the positive, everything positive for Kamala, everything negative for Trump, propping her up. Oh my goodness, look at that debate. That was clearly rigged, right? But she did so great in the debate, all of that. And you barely win New York. That's my prediction. Maybe I'm wrong. I still think we need to keep the pedal pressed down to the metal. Of course, do not relax. Do not give in. Do not let up. We need phone callers. We need door-to-door knockers, right? We need people registering folks to vote. Look at a guy like Scott Presley. He's registered so many Republicans to vote. It's insane. That's why I'm always giving Scott Presley a shout out. He deserves his flowers, most definitely. Big shout out to a guy like Scott Presley, man. He's doing some fantastic work out here in the streets. So get in contact with him. Get involved, all right? But as always, you let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.